All right, guys. Let me do my screen share here, but welcome to our GetFitCREW team call. Let me share my screen, make sure you guys can see the slides. Move this out of my way so I can actually see something. All right. There we go. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's get started on our call. I just wanted to go over a few things for updates and things like that, and then I will share my story with you guys. I will try not to get too detailed with it, and I will try not to cry. You guys know how it is when you go back into some old memories. So we'll see how I get through. Okay, so I wanted to go through some updates first. We have our Spring into Health All Access for the 160. That's supposed to be just through this month. How cool would that be if that ends up being a permanent price? But
Right.
That's just through this month. So make sure you reach out to those people and make sure that that they know what's going on. Like a lot of people have heard of the All Access. I'm sure they have tons of Beachbody coaches on their page that are explaining the All Access, or they are posting about it. Make sure you're messaging them about it, but make sure you let them know that it is on special price just this month for the Spring into Health. So hopefully that'll get people more on board than how they are now. We have our 2 new shake flavors, which Whitney and I were talking about when we first got on the call. So now we have 2 new vegan flavors. We have vanilla and we have cafe latte, and those are already available. We don't have to wait any time for those to become available. Also, we have our first new program that is going to launch next month called UV2. When I saw that one on the Super Saturday video, it kind of reminded me of like a Jane Fonda meets Richard Simmons. But I am going to try it because I try every workout so I can give feedback. I don't want to not try it and then I don't know what it's like. And, it's the best way to get feedback. And we have the All Access Pass, so it's kind of silly if we don't at least try one. So I am going to try it when I see it on my on-demand, just so I could tell people. I'm excited about trying it. Not really, because I don't think I'm going to like it, but I might be pleasantly surprised. So it's kind of why I want to try it too, so I can give feedback, especially I'm not going into this program like, yes, I'm so excited about this program. I can't wait for it to come out. So we'll see if my mind changes when I try it. Then we also have, it's coming out in July, we have the Shift Shop, which it's kind of a weird name. That program looks awesome. I don't know if you guys saw everything. I just noticed the way that I spelled coming on here. Check that out, you guys. I must have been thinking of something else. So can you see it, Amy? So that program, to me, that's the program I'm like, yes, I can't wait for this one to come out. And of course, that's the one coming out in July. So that'll come out in Summit. So it'll come out on our on-demand, but they're also going to have it at the core. So I'm excited to see if at the core, it's going to be the program with those little discs that he put on the floor. So we'll see. This month, last month, if you hit Success Club, you're going to be getting the sample packets of Beachbody Performance Line, which are great giveaways for your challenge groups. This month's Success Club prize, if you hit Success Club this month, you get the Team Beachbody backpack. So for any of those who've already hit Success Club, congrats on getting your backpack. And then the other update that I want to tell you guys is to get at the Success Club party at Summit. You have to hit Success Club in April and May, and you have to have an equal Success Club points of 20 in those 2 months. So if you hit 8 in this month, then you have to make up the difference next month in order to get that 20, but it has to equal 20. It has a total 20 for the 2 months. So those are the updates I had. I wanted to quickly welcome our 5 new coaches to the team that we have. That's awesome so far for where we're at in April, that we already have 5 new team members. So welcome to the team, ladies. I also wanted to give Natalie a shout out for being a business starter in the leadership ladder. Leadership ladder is very, very important. If you focus on if you go into the back office where it shows the leadership ladder, where it shows your Success Club points, there's a tab for leadership ladder. And in that tab, it'll tell you, like, to get to the next leadership rank, it'll tell you what you need, what rank you have to be at, how many coaches you need to hit Success Club, how much commission you have to make to be at that point. So it'll give it to you right there, the next rung or what you need to get. So I think that's awesome that it's there for us. I wanted to give a shout out for Success Club and PV for this month. So Natalie, I didn't look this morning to see if your other 2 points were showing up yet or not for her. I don't know if you looked, but last I looked, I did not see them yet. But I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone that is doing things, that is getting things done, staying consistent, doing your posting. I know sometimes it feels like, because you post and post and post and you're consistent and everything's going great, but nobody's doing anything. Nobody's liking, nobody's commenting, no one's doing anything. Keep going. They might not post, they might not like, they might not comment, but they're watching. And they're going to watch to see if you stick with it. They're going to watch to see your before and afters that you're going to post when you're done with the program. They're watching you, and eventually they're going to come around. I have people just now that are coming around that have been watching me for 2 years. So it takes time sometimes. You just have to stay consistent with it. You can't give up if you're not hearing anything. So that's what separates the coaches that become successful and the coaches that stay where they're at. Don't give up. Just keep pushing through. I wanted to open it up really quick to see if anybody had any shout outs that they wanted to give to anyone on the team, or if they want to give to one of their challengers or anything like that. I think Natalie, you hit your 100 already, didn't you?
No, I'm kind of.
You're like right there.
I'm very close.
Okay.
I want to give a shout out to Whitney, who has quit smoking cigarettes.
Woo-hoo. Good job, girl.
This is the first time in life that she's ever really tried to quit, and she's done it.
Good. I'm so proud of you.
I know. I'm surprised, honestly.
You don't need that stuff.
I know. I feel so much better. It's
All
so
this
much
good, healthy stuff in
better.
your body.
I know. I don't have to be like a slave to it.
Exactly. Good job. I'm proud of
Thank
you.
you.
I know it's not easy to do. Do we have any other shout outs? Okay, and then I wanted to do a shout out to Albert, who got his emerald back, and Amy. Lucy. Lucy's like, I don't like that shout out. Albert got his emerald back. Amy got her ruby back. So I was super excited to see people getting their ranks back. But now we'll get into the meats and potatoes of this. So let me stop my screen share real quick. And let me tell you guys about me, because there's some stuff. I think Amy knows my whole story, but I don't think everybody else knows my whole story. So I'm going to start and just tell you guys a little bit of me before, who I was before Beachbody, because I was not a fun person. Well, I was probably fun, but I wasn't somebody that I would hang out with now, with who I am now. I was very negative. My life was very hard. I was in a physical and emotional, verbal, abusive relationship with my kid's father. And I stayed. I honestly felt like, okay, this is the life God dealt me. I got to figure it out. And I tried to figure it out tons. I knew I was being cheated on, but had no proof. And I didn't want to like screw up my kids, or what I thought would screw up my kids, by breaking their lives apart. And I also knew that if I left and we divorced or separated, I would have to be without my kids sometimes. And that just completely crushed my heart. That is still the hardest thing for me to deal with, is not being with my kids sometimes. So in this relationship, not only was it physically abusive, mentally abusive, but we seemed to never have any money. no matter how much harder I worked to get more money, it was just never there. I was always looking at the bills and thinking, okay, what bills can I not pay that the family will still be okay with everything if I don't pay this bill? Like I have to pay the electric because we need power. I have to buy food, but I always bought the cheapest stuff. So we ate a lot of ramen noodles, tons of macaroni and cheese. And I had to eat that stuff too because I didn't have money. I didn't have money. And I worked full time. You doing the truck? Have your shake. I worked full time. And then I had Kayla. Now, when I got pregnant with Kayla was a surprise. We were engaged, got pregnant with Kayla. So I was in school. So what I wanted to do when Kayla was born is I wanted to be home with my kids. I really wish somebody would have told me about this Beachbody world when Kayla was a baby. My life probably would have been totally different. But I wanted to be home with my kids. So I kept trying that. So I would stay home because I would find that my paycheck would just pay for daycare. And I'm like, okay, so what's the point that I'm going to work if I'm just paying for daycare? That's stupid. So I'm basically busting my ass at work so some stranger can take care of my kid, which half the time they would keep Kayla on her back to where she got a flat head when she was a baby. They never moved her. She had a bald spot right there and it started turning flat because they would never move her. And it was a daycare where you could watch them on camera. And I'm like, I can see that you're not picking up my baby. You're just moving her from the bouncy seat into the crib like she never came out of a bouncy seat. So I tried staying home. And to make a long story short, I was miserable. I had to voluntarily repossess a car because I could no longer afford to pay for the car. And I was the type of person that I was too proud to let somebody come and take it. And I was too much of a planner. I didn't want to wake up one morning and my car was not out in my driveway. I didn't want that to happen. And I'm getting ready to go take the kids somewhere and I have no car. So I drove it to the dealership and I handed them the keys and I voluntarily repossessed my car. So that, of course, went against my credit. That's why I was so excited when I was able to buy my last car by myself because I had to voluntarily repossess a car. So to me, that was like a big deal that I didn't need anybody else's name on my car. It's all by myself. So it was a really, really hard time. He started going through a lot of drinking. So I just felt like I always had to protect the kids. I was miserable. I was one of those types of people that I was vindictive. Oh, you hurt me? Okay, I'm going to figure out what's going to hurt you back because I want you to feel exactly how I feel. That's how I always was. I look back now, and not that I think the divorce was 100% my fault, but I look back at the person I was and I was like, no wonder he didn't want to be married to me. I was not a super nice person. I mean, I was to the people that were nice to me, but if you weren't nice to me, I wasn't nice to you. But life wasn't easy. It wasn't easy by any means. I was watching my best friend slowly die every day during the mix of all of this. And I was always sad. I was always sad. Doctors tried putting me on all these different depression medications because, I would look and be like, I don't know why I'm sad. I have 2 kids. I love my kids. I love that I get to be with them. Why am I so sad? Why am I sad all the time? So they would try all these different medications. One put me in a full-blown anxiety attack and put me into the hospital. So because it made me, believe it or not, it made me too up. So my heart was going too fast. So I've had a lot of things going on in my life before Beachbody came around. And then Beachbody came around. My sister-in-law told me about the shakes and basically came to me because she knew I came from a sales and marketing background. She's like, you can blow this business up. You've got to work this business. I was like, well, I really don't have time to work a business. I was like, but I totally like the way the shakes taste. So I'll sign up as a coach for the shakes. Because of course I didn't want to spend a lot of money because we didn't have a lot of money. So I did that and I started sharing like I always do. And, people were buying from me. One of my best friends, she signed up as a coach also because we were going to kind of do this together and get healthy together. And then the separation and the divorce started. So I stopped everything. So this time around is my second time being a coach. So that was my first time coaching. I stopped everything because now I was a single mom. I had no job. I had a really beat up old car that I wasn't even sure was going to get me from my home in Palm Beach to my parents' house here in Broward County because I had nowhere to go. So me and my kids had to move in with my parents, which for me, that was a low point. I'm in my 30s. I have 2 kids. I was married. So now I feel like a failure. And I feel like I'm back in high school living with my parents with my 2 kids. Not the best feeling in the world. So needless to say, I busted my ass. I applied for every job, even jobs I wasn't even interested in, just so I can get out of their house. It was tough. I hid a lot of what I was going through before I moved in with my parents from them. So they didn't know about the verbal abuse and the emotional abuse. They didn't know about any of that stuff. I was very good at putting on that fake happy mask and making people think that everything was hunky-dory in my life. Because I felt I had to put that mask on for my kids all the time. So I got really good at it. Nobody knew what was going on. I tell my parents stories now and they're like, how did you hide that from me? So I got very good at hiding it. But when I moved in with them, it was very hard to hide the verbal abuse and the emotional abuse because he would come to their house and do it. You know, like he would tell me he didn't want to be with me and then he'd buy me a dozen long stem roses and tell me how amazing I was on our anniversary because he asked for the divorce and we separated like a week before our 10-year wedding anniversary. So they watched all like the mind games and stuff like that. So, lived with them for a few months and then him and I decided to try again. So me and the kids moved back in with him and we tried again for about 6 months. And that's when I had already started changing a little bit when I started running. So I was starting to do some healthier things for myself. Again, I wasn't back on Shakeology yet. But I was running because I needed to get out of the house. I needed to clear my head. I needed to think if this is really what I wanted or do I just want to be by myself? So needless to say, life was crazy. When we moved back down here, I'm driving the car because I have to buy a piece of crap used car because I voluntarily repossessed a different car and the gas tank falls out of the car as I'm driving the kids to the doctors. So, you know, I felt like I was one of those people where something was always happening. Like something would happen, a solution would take place and something else would happen after that. So, I finally just took a job as a secretary, saved up all my money and moved me and the kids into an apartment. And that's where things started to not get so well for me. I thought that was going to be like, yes, this is a new beginning. Well, then, so it was me, the 2 kids and my dog. And I had 2 dogs and I had to leave one with him because it was too big to come into the apartment with me. And I wanted the kids to have a dog at each house. So moved into the apartment and then reality set in of, okay, I'm in my own place and now he's going to come and take the kids and have the kids for 2 or 3 days. Yeah, I couldn't deal with that very good at all. I still can't deal with that. So the fact that I have them full time right now makes it very easy for me. So I have a feeling that it's going to be really hard for me and put me in a depressed state again when it starts happening that they have to go to his house, because it'll be summertime and it'll be week on, week off, which will be very hard for me. At the beginning, it'll probably feel like a break, but after that, it'll be hard. But this is where I went into a dark place. So on the days that I did not have my children, it was very hard for me to not have them. When you go from raising your kids by yourself to now this person wants time with them and he wants to take them, it was really hard. So at the beginning, I would try to hang out at home and I would hang out with my dog because she was older and she was kind of sick. But after about a month, I had to put her down. So now I was really by myself. I did not know how to be by myself. So I would spend time with my friends. Well, spending time with my friends meant that we were going out and we were drinking. So needless to say, I don't remember many of those nights because I would drink to the point because I did not want to feel. I didn't want to go home and not have my kids. I didn't want to feel the failure that I felt. I felt like I tried everything I could and I couldn't make this relationship work. Even though I was unhappy, I was still trying to make it work because I felt that that's what my kids needed. My kids needed their mother and father to be together. They needed to see what a marriage is supposed to be like. They need to see that you're not supposed to give up. You know, as a mom, you all know, as a mom, we try to set the best examples we can for our kids. And you want to try to teach them that, you know, you gotta stick it out. You gotta try to figure out how to make it work. Well, I couldn't make it work. So I felt like I failed them because I knew that divorced household would be stressful for them because they were with me all the time. He was never home, never helped take care of them, always at work, always on work trips, always working a detail, or so it says it was a detail. So it was always me and the kids. So as hurtful and separation anxiety that I got, I can only imagine what my kids were going through when they were at his house. So I would make sure I called him every night to say goodnight. Then it got to the point that he would not answer my calls. And then when I would see them the next time, they would say, how come you never called me? And I'm like, are you kidding me? I called 10 times. I sent a million text messages. He just wouldn't respond to me. So here my kids are thinking that I don't have them. I'm not even going to call them, thinking I wanted nothing to do with them. So nothing but stress for me, thousands and thousands of dollars that I'm still paying off with the attorneys. And I just wanted to take my kids next time I had them and drive off somewhere and make new identities for everybody and not have to deal with it. I didn't, thank God, because I'd probably be in jail by now. But the only way I was able to get through all those hard times was to drink, and literally drink until I couldn't walk. To the point that if I would not have gone back to Beachbody, I probably would have a drinking problem. It was that bad. There were days that I never drove because I knew I was just going to drink because I didn't want to feel. I could feel the feelings right now as I'm telling you the story. I didn't want to feel that. I didn't want to feel alone. I didn't want to feel unloved. I didn't want to feel like I wasn't full because I didn't have my kids. So I would drink, smoke weed, whatever everybody was doing. I was doing it because I didn't want to feel anything. And when I was drinking, I would just feel the happy stuff. I was having a good time. It made me have a good time. So then I decided to start Beachbody again. I had a guy friend of mine that he was going through a divorce with his wife. So he started helping me because he saw me going down like this downward spiral. He started helping me. Well, of course, then we started dating because then, you know, you have somebody that's helping you through all of this. So we dated for about a year or so. He was the first guy I started dating after. And he actually had P90X, never opened, in the box with the pull-up bar and everything. And when I saw the P90X, it reminded me back of Beachbody. And I was like, you know what? I have some extra money. Maybe I'm going to start that again. So I just re-signed up. I didn't know I could re-sign up with a different coach because that probably would have been a better idea to do. But I re-signed up with the same person. I didn't have any guidance with anything. I never, ever got put into a challenge group. I didn't even know what a challenge group was at that time. So I re-signed up because I wanted the shakes again. I wanted to get healthy because now I'm thinking how unhealthy I just made myself and where I was at. I mean, you guys, it was getting to the point that people would drop me off and I would crawl up my stairs and just throw myself into my bed. And I would wake up the next morning, makeup, clothes, shoes, everything just in my bed, not even knowing how I got there. That's where I got to. And it's hard to share that. I don't get that in depth when I normally share my story. I'm just doing that with you guys so you guys can see where my life was. It's hard to share that side of my story because I'm ashamed of that part of my story. I'm ashamed in the fact that I was so miserable that when I was with my ex-husband, that I would be yelling at my kids all the time. I was one of those moms that I was always yelling because I was so miserable and I had nobody to talk to about how miserable I was and how upset I was and how I knew I was being cheated on and, you know, all this stuff. So I took it out on them. Thank God they were little and they really don't remember that, Mom. I remember though. And ashamed of the fact that I turned to, instead of trying to find something like reading a book or going for a frickin' walk, I turned to filling my cup as many times as I could until it put a smile on my face because I forgot all the sadness and all the hurt that was inside my body. So there's a lot of shame in that part of my story, but that part of my story is what made me who I am today. So I guess I should be proud of that part because I made it through. At least I didn't stay there. But so I went back to Beachbody, but I didn't buy a program. I just signed back up and ordered my shakes. And tried P90X. And then I started going to this gym called Body Tech, which is very similar to like how P90X is with TRX and bands and stuff like that. Belle, be quiet. It's the radio. So I started doing that, and I didn't do the whole program, and I didn't even do the full workouts. But I started feeling a change. I started feeling happy. I started feeling like I was becoming someone. And so then I started looking more into it, and I started sharing all that. You guys know how I am. I share everything. I get my nails done. I share it. I find a book I like. I share it. That's just my personality. I've always been someone that I share because I'm one that looks to see what other people share, things that they liked, like whether it be meals or something like that, to get ideas of different things to do. So I was always one to share in case there's someone else out there that's looking for that. So I started sharing, and then I started getting interested in the business aspect of it. Because I was getting a lot of people coming to me when I was sharing. I wasn't really reaching out or inviting or anything yet, but a lot of people were coming to me sharing because a lot of them watched where my life was and they were watching the change. They saw me going out partying all the time because I was posting it on Facebook all the time and doing all this crazy stuff. So I have a lot of people that judged me, my upline coach being one, that judged me when I was in that down part of my life. And I just wished that some of those people that were judging me would have just reached out their hand and said, you need my help. You need me. This isn't you. You've never been like this. You need me. And just do something else with me. Let's go out to dinner instead of going out drinking with your friends. Let's go do this. Let's find a way to help you through it. Read this book. Listen to this book. Like, I wish those people, instead of judging me and sitting back and pointing fingers like, oh, she's the worst mom in the world and she's such a disgusting woman because she's out partying all the time. I wish they would have just reached out a hand instead and said, let me help you. But they didn't. And I had to just dig deep and find that strength and help myself. And I honestly feel that it's because I started doing workouts. Because once you start doing that, the last thing you want to do is go out drinking and partying, and all that hard work and the sweat, blood, and tears that were left on your floor in your living room, you don't want to undo that. So I honestly feel that starting to focus on the fitness side of it is what really saved me from doing that. Did I still go out dancing? Yes, but I never got obliterated with alcohol to where I couldn't remember. Like, I actually went out and had a good time and just had 1 or 2 social drinks and went home and remembered the nice time I had. So it was a nice change. So to make a long story short, doing the fitness, drinking the shakes, eating healthier, it not only saved me from going out drinking all the time, but it helped me with my anxiety that I suffered from. I used to have anxiety and panic attacks and end up in the ER at least once a month because I was like, this is it. I'm really having a heart attack this time. At least once a month, I thought I was really having a heart attack, and I would end up in the emergency room because my anxiety, my panic attacks were that bad. The doctor had me on medication. They wanted me to take it daily, but I was afraid to take it because if I was with the kids, it made me too tired, or I'm sleeping and they're running around the house. So I wouldn't want to take it. So I would try to deal without it. But I could tell you guys, since doing my personal development and doing the health and doing the fitness, I honestly, knock on wood, I don't remember the last time I had an anxiety or a panic attack. I think I had one since Alex and I have been together, and him and I were together since 2012. And I think I had one, and it was very mild. Like, I could just feel the beginnings of it where my hands were sweaty and my feet were sweaty and I could feel a little panic. So it has not just helped me with getting out of that downward spiral of drinking and partying all the time and everything else, but it stopped the anxiety because of the lifestyle that I was living. Like, I had the worst stomach. Like, I never went to any doctor or anything like that, but I had such stomach problems, and my nails were never strong. My hair was always looking unhealthy. I had issues with my skin. So it's just, there was so much going on because there was so much nasty shit. I mean, like ramen noodles, it's been years and I probably still have some floating around in there because those things never digest. So, living off of all that crap, it's just, I know Beachbody saved me. And that's why I don't have a problem sharing it with people. And I don't have a problem paying it forward, because coming from it, and it helped me with the financial aspect too, because I went from not knowing what bills I can pay that month because I didn't have enough money to pay all of them. So I had to pick and choose. What's that saying? Steal from Paul to pay Peter. That's what I would have to do every month when I looked at my bills, every month. And now as the bills come in, I just go online and pay it. It's such more of a relaxing feeling to not have to worry about, oh my God, are the lights going to be on? Am I going to have water so I can give the kids a bath? You know, I had to voluntarily repossess the car. I had to short sale a home, which I had a judgment on. Like, it was horrible, you guys. I don't even think my credit score was on the charts. It was that bad. Like, it was bad financially. It was bad emotionally for me. It was bad physically for me. Just, I feel like my life was in the shitter. And I can't say Beachbody alone saved me, but the strength that Beachbody gave me to save myself is what saved me. To be able to read these books that I was never a reader. Shit, I didn't even read when I was in school. I just passed all my classes by the skin of my teeth. I hated school. I hated opening a book. I hated doing homework. I hated taking tests. I just did what I had to do so I could pass and I wouldn't have to take that grade again. So for me to sit down and read a book and for me to be like, nope, I need to take my 10 minutes and I need to go read. So everybody needs to give me my time. I'm going to go out on the lounge chair, whatever I'm going to do and read is a big deal because I know how much it has helped me. I know how much, and as silly as it sounds, that this little Kindle and the books that are in here and the audio books, I know it sounds silly that I feel like it totally saved me, but it did. It did. Because at the beginning when I would talk to Mike Greenberg, because I reached out to him because I decided I wanted to build this business. I was watching everybody else have success in this business. And my question was, why not me? Why can't I feel happy like them? Why can't I feel relief in my pocket like them? So I reached out to him. So I went above my upline's head because I wasn't getting a lot of assistance when I needed it. And I asked him, I'm like, take me under your wing, teach me everything you know about this business. I want to be successful. And he did, and he still does. We do a call every week still. So I have been a coach, and June will be 4 years, but I've really only been building my business for the last 2 years. And I want to shout it from the rooftops, what an amazing opportunity it is, because I've watched it transform my life. I watched it transform me as a person. I'm no longer vindictive. I'm no longer looking at the negative of each situation, you know, and then to be able to, the biggest thing for me that I love, yes, the fact that it makes me feel how I feel with the lifestyle that I live now, but I'm able to be a better mom and give so much better advice to my kids. You know, like when I would give them advice, I would give them advice on how I would deal with the situation. So back in the day, it was like, oh, she did that. Okay, you go do this. And it was being vindictive. Like, why would I want my kids to be that way? So, but now I'm able to give them advice of things that I'm learning now. So they're learning it at a young age. I have to learn it in my 30s and my 40s. And they get to learn it now in their teenage years, which is going to be so amazing for them. And then I hear my daughter giving advice to her friends, and it's advice that I have given her in the past. So it's like, okay, she's remembering things I'm saying. So this is something that she's going to be able to utilize in her life. So gosh, I can go on and on with how much it saved me, but that's why I do these events that I do, to share that, because I would literally, and the story I just gave you guys was a short story. There are stories inside stories of where my life was and the difference now. And I honestly feel that because of the changes that I had made, it's almost like God's like, you know what? You're finally the person you're supposed to be. So let's let you have a little bit of happiness. Let's let you feel a little bit of that ease in your pocket to be able to pay your bills. I mean, you guys, before I couldn't even pay for one house, and now I pay for two. I have this house, and then we bought a cabin in Tennessee that we use as an investment, a rental property, and that way we would have somewhere to go on vacation. So I'm going to celebrate my next year's birthday in the cabin. And I just told him, I was like, that's where I want to be because I want to celebrate. I had a hard time paying for one house back in the day. I couldn't even pay for a car before. And now we can pay for two houses. And my Beachbody money pays for my car. So I was able to splurge and be like, you know what? I'm going to buy the car with all the bells and whistles just because I want to. So it's really nice to go from I wouldn't say like rags to riches, but somewhere in the middle of those two, where you're suffering and you're having a hard time, and then you get to go to where you can enjoy things. I mean, I remember when Kayla was a baby that I would walk through the mall because I wanted to get out of the house, and I would do the game of I would love. And I would just walk and be like, oh, I would love that outfit. Oh, I would love to get my nails done. Oh, I love her hair. I wish I could get my hair done. And I would just walk through the mall and just pick things that, if I had the money, things that I would love to buy. And now it's nice to go to the mall and be like, you know what? I would love to have that. And I think I'm actually going to buy that for myself because I bust my ass and I work really hard. And I think I deserve to get a new t-shirt, or I think I deserve to get a new pair of sneakers, or I deserve to go get my nails done and have a little bit of me time. I work hard. So that's my story. Went from really dark to really light. And now I just want to keep learning more. I don't think anybody is perfect. I think everybody can use a little work. And I feel like each day is a chance for us to do a little work and be a little different or be a little bit better. So that's why I still do my personal development, because I see how much I've changed and the different person I am, that I look at the positive aspect of everything. I mean, does the old Tanya come out sometimes? Yeah, the old Tanya comes back still sometimes. But it's funny the way that I can change her really fast. And it's funny when a situation that the old Tanya would have spazzed out and been like, life is ending in that situation, how now I could just look at the situation and be like, okay, let's find a solution. And I know that's all because of the personal development. I know I would not have been able to change my mindset like that without at least listening to these books. And the key to personal development is you need to figure out what you're going through at that moment before you start reading the book. And you need to find the book that's going to help you with that situation. And then when you're done with that book, figure out what book you want next. Maybe you have nothing personal going on. Read a business personal development book to help teach you how to build your business. But always read a book that's going to help you through something at that time, because that's how you're going to get the best out of it. That's what I've done so far, and that's what's been working for me. Like right now I'm reading I Am That Girl. Awesome, awesome book. I've gotten a lot of great information from it, tons of highlighted notes out of it. But I don't always read businessy books. I usually maybe read a businessy book every 2 books. But I'm telling you, I know personal development is what changed a lot of it. But I have some people that, you know, like I have a friend of mine whose son is going through some anxiety, and she's going to start walking with him each day, because I was telling her how me getting exercise has been really helping me. Doing daily exercise has really, really helped me with the anxiety. That's when it stopped, is when I was doing some sort of form of exercise every day. That's how the anxiety stopped for me. But that's really it of my story. And now you guys already know who I am today on, or since you've met me, but I just wanted to give you a little background of where crazy Tanya came from. And what has made me who I am now. Not the happiest story, but it's happy now. It's happy now. I like where my life is now. You know, I have an amazing marriage to this man that I don't even know where he came from. I don't think he came from Mars, or if he did, he came from a different part of Mars, because he's totally different than any other guy that I've ever been with. You know, I have 2 amazing kids that try so hard to better themselves too. Kayla actually just picked out her first personal development book when we went to Barnes & Noble's that she wanted to read, that her and I are actually reading together. That way we can go through it together and talk about it and, you know, implement the things that she's learned. And that's really it of my story. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me or anything like that, but that's it. That's me before, during, and after Beachbody. Well, it's still Beachbody, but you guys know what I mean. Is that the sun or the ceiling in Natalie's thing? I can't figure that out. I don't know if she's outside or inside. Did anybody have any questions or anything?
Proud of you.
Oh, thank you. It definitely hasn't been easy. It's not an easy road. And and a lot of you don't know this. Amy knows this, but I would say about year ago or so, I was ready to just close my business center down. I was actually going to sign it over to Amy. You know, it was within the Beachbody world, but you know, there was shit going on, and I just felt like I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it anymore. And I was just letting one person make me feel that way. And Amy was smacking me around, telling me, are you freaking kidding me? No, you're not doing that. You're not going to let one person completely take all of this that you built and all the time you took away from your family to build this business, and you're going to let one person just crumble it like that in about 2 seconds. She's like, nope, you're not doing that. I'm not letting you do that. Thank you, Amy, for not letting me do that. Jen Greenberg did the same thing. I called her and I was like, I'm sorry, but I have to close my doors to my business because Beachbody compliance wouldn't help me with anything, and I just don't want to move forward this way. And, you know, between Amy and Jen and Mike and then Alex smacking me around, between the four of them, that's why I'm still here, because they had to tell me the things that I needed to hear at that time, which it was things that I was feeling inside. I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but you're feeling it inside, but it's almost like you need somebody else to tell you in order for you're like, you know what, you're right. I was feeling that, and I should have listened to my feeling, but you're right. Because I was feeling that. I was feeling the same way, like, why am I going to let this person ruin everything that I've built with this business and all that time and energy? And then that means I'm giving up on all these challengers that came to me because they wanted my help. So we just have to make sure that we don't give up, but we also need to make sure that when we are feeling like that, we turn to the team. That's what this team is for. We're a family. We're here to help each other through that. So if you're feeling like that, you know, if you ever felt like that, or if you ever do feel like that, because it's going to happen in this business is an up and down business. It has its highs, it's got its lows. And when it's got its lows, those lows hit you in a personal level. They hit you in that business level. They just hit you right smack in your gut. And you're just like, oh, maybe this isn't meant for me. And I'll tell you, no, that's not the case. It totally is meant for you. Totally is meant for you. It's meant for everybody that's doing it, because look at the results you're getting. Look at the results you're getting. Look at the people that are commenting on the results you're getting. You're inspiring people. And if you're out there inspiring somebody, then this business is for you. You don't have to be sales. You don't have to know how to sell stuff. You don't need to be able to sell ice to an Eskimo. You just need to be able to be on a journey, be consistent with your journey, and be comfortable sharing it. That's it. So if anybody is ever feeling like that, and you need to be smacked around, reach out to anybody on this team. One of us will smack you around. We've all needed that. We've all needed it. Even if it's in life, even if it has nothing to do with the business, it's fine. That's what we're here for. That's the type of team I want our team to be, is a family. And you turn to your family when you need things. You turn to your family when you're sad. You turn to your family when you just, you know, I mean, it happened to me not too long ago. I was feeling sad. I didn't even know why I was sad. I'm like, why am I sad? Everything's good. My life is good. You know, I'm still doing my workouts. I'm still doing this. The kids are healthy. The kids are good. You know, we got all these trips planned. Why the hell am I sad? Sometimes it just happens. And it was because business was slow, but I wasn't even looking at that part. But business was slow. The team was quiet. So I started feeling sad, like, oh, okay, you know, but we just have to keep going, and we have to be able to lean on each other. What is Christina doing? What are you looking at? How much water you have in there? She's like holding it up. I'm like, what is she looking at? Is there something in your cup? What are you looking for in there?
No, hold on. Oh, I am on. No, I was looking at the water. So I'm just like, so I'm so precise. I'm like anal with it. I don't know why. Like it has to be on 8 ounces. So I'm like always looking, and the numbers are so hard to read on the cup.
They get like, it's almost like when you wash it and wash it and wash it, they get like,
yes.
They get scratched or something. I thought that's what you're looking for. I'm like, what is she looking for in that cup of hers?
It's funny.
You crack me up.
It's funny.
All right. Well, I'm done telling my story. I'm glad that the tears didn't roll. I was holding them back so my voice got funny. But, and then for the local coaches, a reminder that tonight is when we're meeting up at Tijuana Taxi. If you need to bring your kids, bring your kids. Mine say they're going, then they say they're not, then they say they're going, then they say they're not. So who knows if mine will show up. But if you need to bring them, bring them. Christina, you're bringing your girlfriend, right? You said?
Yeah, she's gonna try. Her grandmother's not doing well, so she's gonna try to come.
Okay.
And Al's coming, so
Okay, good. Yeah, Alex is going to come with me, and then the kids will decide if they don't want to come. It's literally around the corner from my house, so they'll just stay
yeah,
home.
no kids for us.
Yeah, they'll just stay home, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to meet at 6 and then have some fun, have some drinks, some food. Does anybody have anything that they need to talk about before we stop the call? I see Rachel's on here too. Good morning, Rachel. All right, good. Okay, so nobody has any questions. Oh, Whit went off. Nobody has any questions with anything. All right, well then I want you guys to have a great weekend and happy Easter to everybody for tomorrow, whoever I'm not going to see tonight. And then I'll see the locals tonight. I'm excited.
I know. I
Amy,
can't wait to see everyone.
what, Nat?
I can't wait to see everyone.
I know, it's going to be fun. It'll be fun just hanging out. Are you bringing Lee with you?
No.
Most likely.
Okay.
Because of course, Alex always has things planned and then he tells me like 5 minutes before he has to go.
Of course.
So I'm most likely bringing Annalise.
Okay, cool. Awesome sauce. And she says, yay. I get to see Lee. Look at Lucy. She's so funny. All right, guys, thank you for hopping on and supporting me to hear my crazy story of my life. I tried to keep it as short as possible. It's so hard to keep our stories short, especially when we're getting into more detail because it's you guys. But thank you very much for hopping on. I really appreciate it. Go have a good rest of your day. Natalie, keep working on that tan. She's trying to get as much sun as possible while she's here.
I know. I got a hell of a tan on. I didn't put in any sunscreen.
Oh, bad girl. Put that sunscreen on. Hey, did you ever meet up with that girl yesterday?
No, and I texted her this morning. I'm like, oh my God, I woke up. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Saturday. I'm like, oh my God, we were supposed to meet up yesterday, but she didn't message me. And then we went to Butterfly World. Then we had to go to the grocery store.
Right.
Then I had to go back and finish cleaning the boat because somebody was coming to look at it, which I haven't sold. I'm happy about. And by that time it was like 8 o'clock. So, and then I had to put Lucy to bed. So,
Right. Well, if anything, see if she wants to meet up with us tonight.
I did. She said that she's going on a date with her husband.
Wow.
Have a babysitter, but I told her I'm here till Wednesday that I still have time if she wants to meet up.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, I'll see you guys tonight. Have a happy Easter, you guys.
Yeah. See you later.